The city of Rochester has released body-worn camera footage, stitched together from several responding officers. And this footage is full of chaos, emotion, and controversy.
Don't touch my officers, you understand me? Do not touch my officers.
I'm a woman.
I don't care.
You can't touch
I don't
me.
care, I just did. Cut it out.
Fucking, I'm not
At your age. Let them pull him out. Back up, please. Back up, please. Back up, please.
Why are you pushing me
We're
hard?
not pushing you.
Evil.
All right, but
Get the away.
so that may make you upset.
Evil
Well, here's
people.
the issue. Whatever their situation,
Ruin everything.
they're gonna ask him to come out of the
It
vehicle.
was working.
Instead of yelling
They
at him.
don't bother nobody.
It all began on the evening of March 24th, 2025, when federal immigration agents stopped a red work van near Lyle Avenue and Whitney Street. Moments later, they called RPD for emergency backup. Within minutes, 10 officers arrived.
He's okay, just get out. It's no big deal. Okay, there's people back here. He's okay. He's okay. You're all right. Get out.
Inside that van was 25-year-old Wilson Galvin Lopez, a man who'd been deported in 2023 but had illegally re-entered the United States.
He's not going anywhere. Tell him to open the door back there. Open the door. Open the door now.
Keys.
In just a minute. In just a minute. I swear if you push one of us one more time, you're hitting the ground.
I need a key.
Then back up and we'll give them to you. You're not following instructions. How many cops have to tell you to back up? Yes? Back there. Move.
Federal agents were there to take him into custody, but things didn't go as planned. A controversy so intense it dragged in the mayor and the police chief, turning them into the center of public outrage and trolling as the new clowns of the town.
Hey, who is this to you, miss?
This is my husband.
All right, can you just? Oh no, listen. We just came here to assist. Obviously, we had nothing to do with this.
Bullshit. Big ass thing. We got our rights, please.
Yes. Hold on.
Please just go.
Hold on a second. We're called here because of this government thing.
Yeah, but
So
you're not criminal.
I know. No one's saying. I'm just here to help. The issue is, it sounds like they need him to come out of the car, and him closing the door and doing all this.
Take them to Batavia.
Okay, but now you're going to have a lot of officers on scene because they asked us to come 77, which means lights and sirens. So look at all these cars now coming. All he has to do is get out of the vehicle. Either way, in the end, he's going to have to come out. I would rather do it without force.
Criminals, please. We are right.
Okay, but they've decided that whatever their situation is, that he needs to get out of the vehicle, and they're going to take him to wherever they got to go. Him doing what he's doing is just causing a big scene and causing a lot worse.
Que lo que están haciendo más.
So here's what's going to happen. If he doesn't get out of the car, we're going to break the window and drag him out. No one wants to do that.
I don't have any money for
Just watch these guys.
evil. Evil.
All right, but
Get away.
so that may make you upset.
The woman you see screaming has just realized her entire family is about to be taken away. Her panic turns to desperation, and soon to chaos. Inside the van, the men refuse to come out. The woman cries out, "We're not criminals." The lead officer responds calmly, trying to de-escalate. He says he just wants to resolve things peacefully.
Dale.
You understand me?
Dale.
Touch my officers.
I'm a woman.
I don't care.
The chaos is now visible, shouting from all sides, agents trying to control the scene. Agents finally open the door and begin pulling the men out. So basically, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, had been watching Wilson for illegal re-entry after deportation. Now, not just him, but also his brother and father are being detained together.
Why are you pushing me
Take
hard?
it back up.
The wife, realizing what's happening, starts crying and refuses to leave the scene.
No pelees.
Want me to put handcuffs? Get back.
The woman refuses to move back. An officer warns her she's obstructing, explaining the charge of obstruction of governmental administration. They remind her to stop interfering and to record from a distance if she wants to film.
Then back up and we'll give them to you. You're not following instruction. How many cops have to tell you to back up? Yes? Back there. Move. Move. Do you need to go in cuffs? Move. 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 Back. 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 Thank you. You can film, but do it over here. When I say back up, that doesn't mean step forward, right?
Why are Somalians in America? Yesterday, a Somalian rear-ended me, which thankfully no one was hurt and no damage was done to my truck. But it got me thinking. Why are Somalians in America? Especially North Dakota and Minnesota. So, I looked into it. The main group bringing in Somalians is Lutheran Social Services. They are led by this guy, and this is his staff. And turns out, they get $2,375 for every Somalian they bring over.
What?
But we have to ask the question, why are they coming over here in the first place? And another surprise, turns out our government was funding a dictatorship in Somalia throughout the Cold War, led by Saeed Barre. And this dictatorship led to clan favoritism and overall just destabilized the country. And it inevitably collapsed in 1991. Also, our troops were over there. This is where the movie Black Hawk Down comes from. But overall, Somalis have no right to be in America, especially North Dakota and Minnesota. They don't integrate into our societies. They carry over their clan mentalities. If you personally have never interacted with Somalian or just don't believe me, I would recommend checking out Nick Shirley's video he did the other day. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know down in the comments below. My name's Jeb Ball. Like and follow for more America First content.
A few weeks ago, a business owner here in California told me that one of his new employees asked to be paid in cash, not on payroll. Why? The business owner asked. Well, because the employee from Afghanistan was worried that he would lose his welfare payments. How much is that? $7,000 a month. That is $84,000 a year here in California. So when we look at this massive scandal in Minnesota, $1 billion from the social services system in fraud and corruption, you can be sure it is much, much worse right here in California. We already know that over $20 billion in the pandemic from the EDD scandal was sent in welfare payments to people in jail, on death row, people who are dead. We know that over $24 billion was completely lost on homelessness spending. All that money spent, and we still have situations like this all over California, everywhere you look. That's why today I am calling for a complete and total audit of every part of California's bloated welfare state, so we find the corruption and the fraud and the waste in Gavin Newsom's California and end it.
A few moments later.
It gets bad here, man. I just don't want to be here no more. I pray to God just. That's why I don't want to be here no more. I'm so tired of being here. This place. Out the way, Liz. Out the way, Out the way.
People who spent years calling America racist are now crying online because they're being sent back to the same country they swore was better than here. You see the meltdown videos everywhere, tears, anger, demands, but none of them mention the fraud investigations, the expired visas, the money that moved through criminal networks, or the abuse of programs paid for by the taxpayers. The moment accountability shows up, they all act shocked.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And as you know, lately there has been a lot of tension online about the deportation happening in the US, especially when it comes to the Somali community in Minnesota. And honestly, it has taken a whole different turn because now people are arguing about culture, about assimilation, and even politics. And the clip that shocked a lot of people, the one guy actually crying after being deported, suddenly made people start asking, wait, why are some Somalis asking Black Americans to step in now when they never really connected with them before? Then, on the other hand, you have Ilhan Omar coming out saying this deportation shouldn't even be happening, that the US needs the Somali community and that they are not going anywhere. But the reactions from Americans online, let me just say, people did not take that well at all. Some are saying she's defending the wrong things. Others are accusing her of ignoring Americans completely. And the argument just keeps getting louder.
I can go live wherever I want. Well, then go live in Somalia. All we hear you talk about is Somalia, Somalia. You love Somalia. It's your home, your people. Fucking live there.
I think she should be impeached. I think she's terrible. She originally from Somalia. So how are they doing this? How's their government? Do they have a president? Do they have a council?
If you want a good laugh today, check this out.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as the fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
First and foremost, Little Miss Brusband. I don't feel American. I am American, so no one can make me feel less than or less like something that I already am because I was born that. And the real problem stems from the fact that you believe that you are the fabric of this nation. By the way, that metaphor refers to people that share fundamental structures, values, beliefs, you know, culture and all this stuff. Didn't you come from Somalia, where the country's major fabric is Islam, what holds that nation together? And in Islam, you either convert or die. That's their belief system, correct? Or you force them to believe what you believe. Didn't Minnesota change their flag for you? See, if you were the fabric of this nation as you're espousing, you wouldn't have come to change the area you're in. You would assimilate and join in and share your culture and share your beliefs without forcing it on anybody, because no means no. But you guys don't believe in that.
Now, what really caught people's attention is this idea that some immigrants, not all, aren't fully supporting the country they're living in. And people are saying they aren't blending in, they aren't contributing the way they should, and they're acting like they're separate from America instead of part of it. And whether that's true or not, that's the conversation people are having.
Sorry to say, Minnesota, but your city has been taken. It's been taken. Somalians are taking over Minnesota as we speak. Now, the sheriff is also Somalian. If you don't believe me, there is a video stating that he said that he's not there to protect the people that live there. No, he's protecting his own kind. This is bad. And you guys are here supporting all of this as a Minnesota resident. Y'all lost it.
And let's not forget, Ilhan Omar is naturalized. So her critics are now bringing up Trump's old statements about her, saying that being naturalized doesn't protect you if something serious happens legally. And again, whether that is true in her case or not, that's the debate that has resurfaced online.
Enough to understand that members of Congress can't be impeached. You know, when you have Nancy and Randy saying, you know, we're on it, we're going to impeach her. When they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen.
Ilhan Omar, the cracks are beginning to show. Now that you are on Trump's radar, I think you are starting to become very afraid. You're starting to panic. It looks like you are terrified and you feel some sense of threat. And honestly, you should be. I would like to point out and comment on the last statement that you made in that interview, but I'd also like to correct you on some few things. Yes, you are correct. American citizens cannot be deported. But what you failed to mention is that there are two types of American citizens. You failed to make that distinction. They are natural-born citizens and they are naturalized citizens, which you and I fall under that category. Both you and I are naturalized citizens. You being a Somalian and I am a Zambian. We became naturalized citizens because we satisfied the requirements needed to pursue citizenship through a legal process. We applied for naturalization because we satisfied all the requirements needed by immigration in order for us to pursue to become citizens. Natural-born citizens cannot be deported. Why? Because they were born here. However, naturalized citizens, we can get our citizenship revoked through a denaturalization process. And how that can come about is if we are being pursued criminally or civically.
Then you have that clip of the police officer who said his job is specifically to serve Somalis. Americans saw that and said, hold on, you are a police officer in the United States. You are supposed to serve everyone equally. And that video added fuel to the fire.
A Somali sheriff's deputy in Minnesota said he's only there to protect and serve Somalians.
markaan haddaan askarnahay Soomaaliyeed idinka ayna shaqeynaa habeenii maalin idinka ayna taaganahay fahanteen horta saa ogtihiin wadankan anaga qaxootiyan imaanay askar Soomaaliya ma jirin marka hadda anaga markii nala haygareeyay waxay noqotay inaan dadkeena u shaqeyno dadkii dhaqankii ma fahmayna luqadii ma fahmayna culture-kii ma fahmayna marka qofka kale mataqaana ajnabiga abadaanka iyo anaga kala duwanahay qofka gaabkii waxa wadada bridge-kaas fahanteen marka insha Allah waa mahadsantiin again ogaada askari kasta oo Soomaaliya dalka iyo dabadaba inuu idin shaqeeyaa habeenkii marka hurdaan iyo marka mataqaana achieftaanba
with all the scams and fraud that happened in Somalia, could you imagine if the district attorney was a Somalian? All that will go unchecked with no consequences.
There are truths we have not been saying out loud. Number one, go to Somali malls. Cash only, no receipts. That's sus. We gotta say that out loud. Number two, Somali tax accountants. They say, oh, you have no taxes today. That's sus. We gotta call that out. What? Yeah, Somali trucking companies cutting corners. That's sus. Let's not do that. Appreciate that. Let me keep going. Yeah, helping each other lie on forms. Like it's some sort of community service we're doing to each other. What? Yeah. And recently I just saw a Somali sheriff, police officer, saying that he only serves the Somali community. What are you doing? You're an American. The whole citizens is your duty to protect and provide great, excellent service. Hello! Get rid of that mindset. Appreciate that.
Alright, after seeing all that, you can really understand why the internet is so heated right now. There's the emotional side, like that man crying after being deported. And then there's the political side, with Ilhan Omar defending the community. And Americans feeling like she's choosing one group over the whole country. And Americans feeling like she's choosing one group over the whole country. So people are basically split into two camps. Some feel like immigrants deserve protection, especially those who came to the US to escape a real danger. While others feel like the US has been too lenient and that people should at least show loyalty to the country that gave them safety, opportunity, and a home. And then there's the part that really surprised me. Somalis asking Americans to speak up for them. Some Americans are like, we always get dragged into every issue, especially Black Americans, even the ones that had nothing to do with the Black Americans. Others are saying we can support people, but don't expect unconditional loyalty when there hasn't been much unity before. It's honestly a very complicated conversation, and deportation is emotional, immigration is emotional, and when you mix in politics, culture, identity, and online opinions, it becomes a storm. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories just like this. Thank you so much for sticking around. My name is Amy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay blessed.
Governor Newsom signed into law AB 130, which is meant to actually make it easier to build affordable housing.
Housing developers are expressing frustration with a new law passed this summer.
But there are some developers who worry that the exact opposite could happen.
California isn't supposed to look like this. Not the rows of for sale signs standing like warning flags. Not the quiet goodbyes whispered in driveways at dawn. Not the panic spreading from kitchen table to kitchen table as families open envelopes they can no longer afford to open. And definitely not this. A growing rebellion of homeowners across the state refusing to pay their property taxes, not because they're reckless, not because they're political, because they're done. They're out of options. and they've reached a breaking point California pretended would never come. Right now, this state is facing something it hasn't seen since the late 1970s, a real widespread property tax revolt. Homeowners aren't just complaining, they're taking action, they're coordinating, they're pushing back. And behind closed doors, insiders say Governor Gavin Newsom knows what's happening. He knows it's accelerating, he knows it's spreading, and he knows he's losing control of it. Property tax revolt, breaking. Here's the question facing every family right now. If thousands of homeowners refuse to pay, how long until this breaks the state budget and the housing market with it? If you live in California, or you own a home anywhere in the western United States, you cannot ignore this. This crisis is moving faster than officials want to admit. Subscribe to RoofWatch right now. You need the truth before the next wave hits. Meet the Sullivans, a family in Riverside County who never imagined they'd become part of something like this, something big enough to shake the entire state. Tom and Melissa bought their beige two-story home in 2015. $389,000. Not cheap, but fair for the time. A starter life, a fresh beginning, a place to raise 2 kids, and a restless dog that kept chewing the fence. Back then, everything made sense. Mortgage around $2,100 a month, property taxes $4,800 a year. They stretched, they budgeted, they made it work. Then the reassessments began. Year after year, the numbers crept upward, like a tide creeping toward a line you swore it would never cross. Tom called the county, Melissa triple-checked the math, but by 2024, the truth landed on their doorstep. $9,700. That was their new tax bill, a 100% increase, with no remodel, no new addition, no extra space, no luxury upgrades, just California tightening its grip. Tom asked the question every homeowner eventually asks: where am I supposed to find another $5,000? No one could answer him. Not the assessor's office, not the county, not the state. So the Sullivans did something they never thought they'd do. They stopped paying. Not because they wanted to make a statement, not because they wanted to rebel. They did it because the alternative meant skipping groceries, or skipping electricity, or skipping the mortgage, just to keep up with taxes. And when they finally told their neighbors, expecting judgment, they heard something else instead. 3 more families on their street were already considering the same thing. 1 crisis becomes 2, 2 become 5, 5 become a neighborhood. This is how revolts begin, not with fire and shouting, but with quiet desperation stacking up like overdue bills on a counter. Down in San Diego County, Ron and Elena, both retired, watched their property taxes climb from $6,300 to nearly $12,000. Ron's medical bills drained their savings. Elena's part-time job evaporated when her store downsized. They tried everything: phone calls, letters, appeals, requests for relief. Every answer was the same: your assessment is accurate, your taxes are due, no exceptions. So they joined a Facebook group called Stop the California Tax Squeeze. A year ago, that group had 80 people. Now, 42,000. People from Orange County, people from the Bay Area, people from Sacramento suburbs, people from the high desert. They're sharing refusal letters, appeal templates, screenshots of county responses, warnings about penalties, plans for coordinated action. This is no longer a few angry homeowners. This is a movement, one powerful enough to threaten the financial foundation of the state. A tax worker in Orange County said this quietly, off the record: "We can't keep up. This is spreading faster than anything I've ever seen." And then there's the part no one's talking about yet, the part that could change the entire market. Real estate agents from Contra Costa, Placer, Santa Clara, and the Inland Empire are noticing the same pattern: homeowners calling privately, nervously, cautiously, not to list their homes, not yet, but to ask one question: if we had to sell, how fast could we do it? This group of homeowners is bigger than the ones who've already listed their homes. They're the ones hiding in the shadows. Agents call this shadow inventory: homes that aren't on the market but will be, homes whose owners have emotionally checked out, homes whose families are preparing to flee before the market buckles, and they have one reason: property taxes. One homeowner in Santa Clara said, "My mortgage is $3,500, my property taxes are $3,200. I'm paying twice what I expected. If I lose my job, I lose the house." Imagine thousands of homeowners in that exact position, and now imagine them hitting the market all at once. That's the reality. California is inching toward, because when families give up, the market gives in. Now travel to Redwood City, a small fixer-upper, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, built in the 1960s. A single mother named Janelle bought it for $920,000 during the frenzy of the pandemic market. Her mortgage was steep but manageable. Her property taxes, nearly $11,000 a year. Then she got laid off from her tech job in 2023. Unemployment covered the mortgage, nothing covered the taxes, so she did everything she could. She rented out the spare room, she worked late-night gig jobs, she sold furniture, she sold her car, still not enough. When she called the county tax collector, they gave her a date, April. After that the penalties start, then the liens, then the foreclosure machinery kicks in. She told me, I bought this house to give my son stability. Now it's the thing that's destroying us. She's packing her belongings now. She's leaving California, not by choice, but because the state she trusted abandoned her in plain sight. And Janelle is not alone, not even close. But California officials aren't easing pressure. They're not offering relief. They're not slowing reassessments. In some counties, they're doing the opposite. They're preparing something bigger, something stronger, something far more aggressive than homeowners realize. And once it begins, the entire revolt will enter a new phase, because the next move won't come from the homeowners, it'll come from the government, and that move is already in motion. The revolt didn't stay quiet for long. County offices across California began noticing the same pattern. Phone lines jammed, email inboxes flooded, homeowners demanding answers, homeowners refusing to pay, homeowners warning they were done being squeezed. But instead of slowing down, instead of listening, instead of giving families breathing room, California did something else entirely. It cracked down, not publicly, not with a press release, not with a governor's speech, quietly, quiet enough that most people still don't know it happened. Internal memos circulated through San Diego County, then Sonoma, then Alameda, then San Bernardino. Small offices were suddenly told to change priorities, stop focusing on routine assessments, stop helping homeowners negotiate, stop processing appeals slowly. Now the orders were different. Target delinquent accounts, move fast, reduce grace periods, accelerate penalties. For families barely holding on, it felt like someone took their lifeline and cut it. A tax worker in San Bernardino said quietly, "We're not giving homeowners time anymore. We're under orders to move these accounts forward, no matter what they're going through. It feels wrong, it feels rushed, but we're told the counties need the money." Need the money. That's the phrase that keeps coming up, because this isn't just a homeowner revolt. This is a revenue crisis the government hoped you'd never see. When people don't pay, counties starve, cities starve, schools starve, budget holes widen, and panic starts spreading upward from local offices to Sacramento. That's when the dominoes really started to fall. Homeowners refusing to pay is one thing, but what came next, California wasn't ready for. Homes began quietly slipping toward delinquency, not all at once, not loud, not dramatic. A missed payment here, a penalty there, a lien notice tucked under a stack of bills. Then those small cracks started spreading. Lenders noticed, real estate agents noticed, county auditors noticed. One foreclosure specialist in the East Bay said, "We're seeing people who were stable a year ago suddenly fall apart. It's not irresponsible budgeting, it's the tax hikes. They're pushing middle-class homeowners straight into default." In Elk Grove, an entire cul-de-sac has 3 families preparing to sell. In Oceanside, a row of homes that sold during the pandemic boom are quietly returning to the market. In Chula Vista, investors who bought rental properties are walking away because rising taxes killed their cash flow. A small-time landlord in Fontana told me, "I didn't raise the rent, I didn't remodel. Nothing changed except my property taxes. They went up $2,400 on one duplex. That wiped out everything." Investors don't stay when the math stops working, and when investors leave, buyers get scared, sellers get desperate, prices wobble, inventory grows, neighborhoods shift. California has always relied on one illusion, that no matter how bad things get, people will still buy homes here. That illusion is cracking, and the government knows it. While counties tighten enforcement, families face decisions no one should have to make. In Solano County, a mother of 3 told us she paid her tax bill by skipping her insulin. In Victorville, a veteran said he fell behind after a mandatory reassessment raised his bill by nearly $3,000. He didn't upgrade his home. He didn't add a room. He didn't do anything except live in a neighborhood where prices surged. Now he's facing a lien. And then there's the story from Santa Rosa. A couple in their 50s, Mark and Olivia, bought their home 11 years ago. They survived fires, survived evacuations, survived insurance hikes. But what they couldn't survive was the tax increase. They didn't remodel, they didn't expand. Nothing changed, except the county reassessed their property based on market value. Their tax bill jumped from $7,200 in 2 years. Mark said, "I can fix a roof, I can patch drywall, I can rebuild after a fire, but I can't fight the county. I can't fight Sacramento. How do you beat a system designed to drain you?" They're now preparing to move to Idaho. Another family gone, another hollowed-out neighborhood, another fracture spreading through California's foundation. This is where the pressure turns political. This is where the spotlight shifts. This is where responsibility comes knocking on the governor's door, and Gavin Newsom still isn't answering. When reporters asked him about soaring property taxes, he brushed it off. When asked about families facing forced sales, he changed the subject. When asked whether the state would step in to help, he talked about long-term construction goals, plans that won't help homeowners who need answers today. Even people inside Sacramento whisper the same thing. He underestimated this. He thought it was noise, he thought it would fade, but it didn't fade. It grew, and now it's accelerating faster than anyone predicted. The more Newsom avoids it, the angrier Californians become, because this revolt isn't ideological. It's not partisan. It's not left or right. It's survival. When enough middle-class families feel abandoned, a movement forms. When that movement grows big enough, a crisis forms. And California is heading straight toward one. But what comes next is something far bigger than a revolt, something far more destabilizing. Because county officials aren't just tightening enforcement, they're preparing a coordinated action, a sweeping maneuver designed to force compliance, no matter what homeowners are going through. A maneuver powerful enough to trigger the next phase of this crisis, and once it begins, there's no going back. Not for the counties, not for the homeowners, not for Newsom, because California is about to cross a line, one the government hoped you'd never see, and that line is just ahead. California's counties knew the revolt was growing. They saw the warning signs, the unpaid bills, the frantic phone calls, the rising anger, the spreading fear. But instead of slowing down, instead of offering relief, instead of protecting the families who were slipping through the cracks, they prepared something else, a coordinated sweep, a statewide push to force compliance. Tax collectors in multiple counties were instructed to move delinquent accounts forward aggressively, not next month, not next quarter. Now, that meant more penalties, more liens, more certified letters stamped with red ink, more families pushed toward foreclosure, not because they were irresponsible, but because they were overwhelmed. An employee in Sonoma County confided, "We've been told to accelerate everything, no delays, no leniency, no exceptions. The counties need funds, and they're coming after every dollar." Because when homeowners realized the government wasn't backing down, they stopped hoping for help. They started fighting back harder. Groups once limited to Facebook comments are now hosting in-person meetings, small gatherings growing into packed rooms, neighbors trading paperwork, teachers sitting beside contractors, nurses beside engineers, retirees beside first-time homeowners, everyone telling the same story. "I can't keep up. I'm being reassessed every year. I didn't add anything to my property. My taxes doubled. I'm drowning." And the anger in those rooms is turning into strategy. People are coordinating mass appeals, hiring lawyers together, pooling money for legal challenges, sharing scripts for phone calls, drafting letters to local representatives, keeping spreadsheets of county inconsistencies, organizing community-wide refusal dates. This isn't chaos anymore. It's organized pressure, and Sacramento can feel it. While homeowners mobilize, the housing market is absorbing blow after blow. Properties in Ventura and Solano County are sitting longer, sometimes 2 or 3 times longer than the same time last year. Buyers who once rushed to make offers now hesitate. They've started asking new questions. What are the taxes like here? How often is this area reassessed? Has the county raised values recently? Questions real estate agents never heard a decade ago are now deal breakers. And investors, they're gone. Small-time landlords who kept neighborhoods stable have started unloading properties because rising taxes wiped out their margins. One investor in the Inland Empire said, "I can handle repairs, I can handle vacancies, I can handle interest rates, but I can't handle unpredictable taxes." That's the one thing I can't control. When investors retreat, they don't come back quickly. And when they don't return, prices stop rising. Then they soften, then they slip. California's housing market relies on confidence. Right now, that confidence is bleeding out, and Governor Newsom still hasn't addressed it head on. Behind the scenes, advisors say Newsom underestimated how fast this crisis would spread. He assumed frustration would fade. He assumed counties could handle it. He assumed homeowners wouldn't organize. He assumed wrong. Every unpaid tax bill puts pressure on the local budget. Every lien moves a home closer to foreclosure. Every foreclosure adds weight to a weakening market. And every family pushed out becomes another voice saying, California isn't working for us anymore. That message doesn't disappear. It grows louder. It spreads. It becomes a movement. And that movement now has a target. The policies, the silence, and the avoidance coming from the governor's office. The longer Newsom waits to act, the more people join the revolt, the more homes leave the market, the more families disappear from neighborhoods, the more trust evaporates from a state already stretched thin, because this was never just about money. It was about stability, security, the promise that if you worked hard and paid your bills, you'd be allowed to keep the home you built your life around. That promise is broken, and homeowners feel it deeply. All across the state, people are asking the same question: how much worse will this get? The truth? California is heading toward a collision between a government desperate for revenue and a middle class desperate to survive, a collision between rising taxes and falling patience, a collision between official silence and public rage. This is not slowing down, not stabilizing, not fading. It's accelerating, and the families caught in the middle, they need answers, they need relief, they need someone willing to fight for them. That is why voices matter. That is why information matters. That is why staying ahead of this crisis is not optional. It's essential. If you're a California homeowner, if you live anywhere in the western U.S., or if you're watching your own property taxes climb, you cannot afford to be blindsided. Subscribe to Roof Watch right now. This crisis is unfolding fast. Counties are tightening their grip, and you need the truth before the next wave hits. Stay aware, stay prepared, and stay with us. Roof Watch is watching the storm, and we're not looking away.
Welcome back to the Edwards Report. My name's Kalen, and today we're diving headfirst into one of the most frustrating, controversial, and confusing issues in America. The question of whether or not illegal migrants are living off of your tax dollars. We've heard it all. They can't get welfare. They're not eligible. Or they're draining the system and it's costing us billions. The question is, what's the truth? Today, we're pulling the mask off of this broken system, exposing just how illegal immigrants are receiving benefits, where the money goes, how the loopholes work, and what it means for your wallet, your neighborhood, and the soul of this country.
Officials are forcing more than 20 families living in government housing out of their homes. The Pasco County Authority says they have found many of those people lied about being U.S. citizens. ABC Action News reporter Eric Waxler shows us how it happened.
I think we've lost heart. I think we've lost soul.
Community activist Margarita Romo has spent decades trying to help farm workers and other immigrants in and around Dade City. And now, as many of them face eviction today, she worries, especially for the children.
We're talking about 60 kids that had to find a different way to go to school. So it's not, and these are all American kids.
Eviction notices went out to several people living at Cypress Farms Apartments, which is operated by the Pasco County Housing Authority. It started when Homeland Security discovered a tenant was here illegally after using a fraudulent Social Security card.
Obviously, we cannot have people participating in programs that are not qualified to participate in them. I mean, we can't.
Officials say an audit of the program found 20 others were also lying about their qualifications.
Man, that's so hard because the children are technically U.S. citizens because they were born here. And it's a loophole in the system. It's like they're taking advantage of it. I get why they're doing it. It's because the way the laws are written incentivizes it. Like, it makes a lot of sense. It's just unfair to American citizens that pay into these programs that sometimes can't even get the benefit of them because of people that are misusing it like this. The real problem here, though, for me is that not doing stuff right in the first place just begets terrible, terrible consequences down the line. Now you have the appeal to emotions, because kids are quite literally being ripped out of schools. But that's not the whole story. The story begins at the beginning. And if they had never been brought here, then they would never be in the situation. So I can see it from both sides. It's just that you have to start from the beginning. And when you start wrong, you can end wrong. And that's what this situation is.
Qualifications as citizens, they all have until today to leave. Some were packing up. Most are already gone.
Over the years, we've tried really hard to find a better life for them, but it's very difficult because of immigration, the way immigration works, and the processes are very, very difficult. So some people can be here 20 years and still be waiting for mercy.
The Housing Authority says they will continue to audit all their residents to look for any other cases of fraud. They also acknowledge dozens of qualified U.S. citizens may have been denied housing because people were living here illegally.
Wow.
In Dade City, Eric Wax.
So where does the compassion go? Does it go to the people who came here illegally? Regardless of if they were here for 20 years, the first thing they did was break the law and then start using up public resources. Or does the compassion go towards real U.S. families that have been paying their taxes that don't get the opportunity to benefit from these public resources? I think it's just so wrong. It's such a hard case to make. Like, they try to appeal to the emotions and use compassion in one direction, and they're just betraying their fellow American citizens. Like, it's so clearly and so obviously wrong that this isn't even political for me. I care for both sides. It's just I care first and foremost for Americans. I'm going to address their needs first because that's who we have allegiance to. And if there's anything more, the compassion extends to people who want to migrate here, but they need to do so legally.
Not giving non-citizens access to benefits designed for Americans. Seems like common sense? Well, you'd be surprised, because the White House is officially cutting off taxpayer-funded benefits from immigrants in the country illegally, saying saving Americans an estimated $40 billion. The Trump administration says this has been going on for years, and this move isn't just welfare reform. It's a full-scale rollback of what the president calls decades of bureaucratic defiance. Brian, I'll come to you first. We're talking about Head Start. We're talking about technical education programs, free tuition, SNAP. What's the right thing to do?
Well, it's this. I mean, the crazy thing about these stories is who even knew what kind of benefits illegals were getting? I mean, it's all buried. It's all in the bureaucratic.
They knew what the potential was for them to get, which is why they came here. Guys, we have to look at this from an economic standpoint. Look at the incentives that these people have to come here. You have all of these benefits unchecked. You get to come here, and especially under previous administrations, not even have to worry about getting sent back. It don't matter how you enter, plus the benefits. It's a win-win. We can't sit here and act like we don't know why they came. It's wrong the way they did it. But when your government incentivizes it, when you have people that are creating loopholes so that you can do this, why wouldn't you? Well, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't. And the current administration is exposing why you shouldn't. Alligator Alcatraz, they send you right back, expedited removal. They are not playing. This current administration has de-incentivized illegal immigration because you will get sent to bad places and you might not even get sent back to where you came from. You can sleep peacefully at night. Rest assured, knowing that you're doing things right if you don't start off your new life by breaking the law.
And this is why people say that you've got a huge magnet in the United States, because when you give away basically unlimited welfare benefits, it's a huge incentive for people to come here. So it's sort of obvious that we should end this. You have to be a citizen of the United States, and we should, my view is we should reduce these benefits at the same time, which I think is what the big, beautiful bill, in a way, was starting to do across the board, get fraud out of this. Most Americans would look at this and say, yeah, why would we be giving those benefits?
Well, and the Democrats.
Thank you for doing.
And he's not wrong. This is actually crazy because this is so popular. Like, I know you might see the comments even on this video, and it seems one-sided. But the polls show that both sides of the aisle want this. This is very, very popular with the American people. So it would behoove the politicians to get on the side of their constituents.
for doing
And the Democrats are playing fast and loose with the facts on the big, beautiful bill as it relates to this. What they're trying to say is those cuts in the big, beautiful bill, we're cutting Medicaid. This is part of the cuts. Cutting it out for illegal immigrants and people that don't deserve to get the benefits. You know, I don't care what they say about Doge, like, oh, it didn't do enough. The fact that we know what USAID does and
the awareness was
of
priceless.
Funding transgender dance festivals in Bangladesh on
Quick
my
question,
dime
though.
is crazy.
What do you say, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but the pushback, Jerry, has always been, well, these kids were brought in by their parents. Why are we punishing them? They didn't do this, and yet you're taking benefits away from them. How do you solve the cries from the left about you're so mean, you don't believe in humanitarian issues, how dare you?
I'll answer. Do we start doing the right thing today based off of the wrong thing that they did? Do we address the wrong today, or do we address the wrong in the beginning? Because if we just address it today, we're half doing it. We're not dealing with the full story. So I can see where conservatives are coming from, where they're just like, okay, something wrong happened. You're right. Let's address the first wrong thing that happened, which is how you got here in the first place and got yourself in this situation.
Democrats love to take the locus of responsibility from parents and put it on the state. So they're saying if you cut state benefits, you're hurting the children. I think the conservative answer is those children are in the care of their parents. The parents have to make a better choice. If they make an illegal choice, they need to undo that choice.
But if, let's play devil's advocate. I'm 8 months pregnant and I'm desperate for my child to be an American citizen because I'm so sick of my horrible country and the American dream, and I run across the border for the sake of my child.
Well, I would argue that the 14th Amendment doesn't actually provide birthright citizenship the way the Democrats read it.
You know what I would say?
So we can have a constitutional conversation about that.
That's a big conversation happening right now, and they're using it against black people. And I've seen people that are pretty liberal come in these comments and just be like, you're next. Kaylin, people like you are next. Your people are next. First, they're going to use it against quite literal, like, people who were not born here. They're going to use it against you now because this administration is racist, and they're going to send you back to wherever I'm supposed to be, where my family has been here for generations. So, like, some people think I'm a tether. They think I'm like from the Caribbean or from Africa, and that like I'm just this conservative commentator that just co-opts the Black American plight and then talks about things like this and is being used as a pawn for people like Fox News. And it's like, that is interesting conspiracy theory. However, it is not true. It's well documented that I've been here since birth, but that's all just a red herring. Let's talk about what actually matters. Are these constitutional laws being interpreted correctly? Yes or no? I'm not even taking a stand. I haven't even read it. But to the extent that they're not being interpreted correctly, they're being used as a loophole for people to take advantage of. And that's not the intent. So let's deal with that. If you have a baby here, does that baby automatically end up a citizen? Or does the status of the parents matter at all? It's worth looking into. I think it is, for the sole reason that it's being exploited. And it creates this chaotic situation where nobody knows what to do because people care about the kid, and we do care about the parent, but we see the parent did something bad to take advantage of something that is written in the law.
You're right to bring up the exceptions because that is the argument, but exceptions make terrible policy.
Yeah,
and I think
fair.
Democrats
You're right about
know
that.
that, which
You're
is
right.
why they always want to talk exceptions so that you can get terrible policy, and then they've won.
Well,
You've
and
got
you
to
know
make
what they
policy
do?
on what's substantially actually happening.
When they do that, then they say, oh, well, we've set precedent. We've been doing it for years and years and years and years. So if you've been breaking the rules or misreading the 14th Amendment for years and years and years, that means we can't ever stop doing it. I mean, that's essentially what they say in every aspect. It's like, well, we've been doing it. We can't stop now. Yes, you can.
So this is not a question of whether or not the immigrants are getting benefits. The answer is yes, they get benefits. But the real question is how? Let's start with what's not up for debate. The federal law says that illegal immigrants are not eligible for most government welfare. That includes things like SNAP, Medicaid, SSI, and TANF. That's just the law. But here's the catch. They're really receiving billions in benefits every single year, regardless of what the law says or not. Legally, indirectly, and sometimes, and this is a little bit of the cases, fraudulently. So let's go through what I discovered. Number one, these illegal immigrants are receiving benefits through their U.S.-born children. Roughly 4.5 million U.S. citizen children have undocumented parents. That means that their families qualify for full welfare benefits like SNAP, TANF, Medicaid, and the child tax credit. The money flows not directly to the parents, but to the household. The system isn't broken here, it's just being used exactly as it was designed. Number two, they're receiving benefits through emergency and public health services. Regardless of how they got here, they're eligible for emergency Medicaid, public health programs like vaccines and COVID-19 treatment, WIC, and other school meals. These are mandated by law for humanitarian and public health reasons. But the cost, as you can imagine, adds up pretty fast. Number three, they're getting benefits through loopholes in immigration status that millions have applied for, like asylum. They've received temporary protected status, or they've been granted humanitarian parole. That makes them qualified aliens under federal law, which unlocks full access to programs like food stamps and Medicaid. Don't be mistaken. These are the same people who crossed the border illegally, but then were reclassified through administrative action, not through court rulings. So let's go ahead and follow the money trail. California spent $3.2 billion on emergency care for illegal immigrants in 2023. Texas collects $2.4 billion in taxes from undocumented migrants, but it spends $1.6 billion on public services for them. Florida hospitals have reported over $566 million in uncompensated care for undocumented patients. So when people say they don't get welfare, they're right on a technicality, but on a practicality, that money is still leaving from your paycheck. So go ahead right now and leave a comment. Do you think that mixed status households should be allowed to apply for welfare on behalf of their US born children? Or do you guys think that this is a loophole that is being exploited? I know the current administration is going after the children who are born here that have undocumented parents, and they're calling it the birthright citizenship. They're saying that's being exploited. But what do you guys think? I want to know in the comment section below.
As the administration uncovers waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars, a key focus has been Medicaid, with GOP lawmakers introducing legislation that prohibits health care funding and benefits to illegal aliens. They argue it served as a magnet for crossing the border illegally without seeking asylum. Joining us this morning to discuss the latest headlines on the Hill is Washington insider Armstrong Williams. Good to see you, sir, as always.
Morning.
How much funding has gone to cover medical expenses specifically for illegal aliens?
$27 billion. 3 meals a day, unlimited health care, unlimited visits. I mean, when you think about how Americans are struggling with health care and how quickly these physicians want to get them out of that hospital, no matter what the procedure is, it's almost, it takes your breath away that they're spending this kind of money on people just coming to this country. What you want to get in the country too? If you could get free health care, imagine you realize you've got some kind of health challenge and you can't get it in your country. You almost die to get here just to take advantage of this loophole.
We've also talked about the fact that it also has delayed medical procedures for Americans because there's no room, there's no time on the schedule because of other issues that have persisted within the healthcare industry. Now, one of those big expenses, by the way, is to Planned Parenthood, which they state on their website their doors are open to everyone, including illegal aliens, and that they will not report anyone's status. However, Planned Parenthood affiliates in nearly a dozen states have already received notices of civil rights violations targeting Black communities and encouraging illegal aliens to receive care. And yet Planned Parenthood is also receiving taxpayer dollars. So how is that legal?
You know, Jan, it feels criminal. It feels exploitive. It feels like something happened ages ago. if you want to, I mean, it just reeks with all the wrong things that goes along with family values. They're just exploiting these women and making them believe that they're going to give them a quick fix in the depression that they deal with. And the fact that says, we don't care about your status. We're not going to ask. So it's a wink, wink. Come. All we want to do is take your money. That's what it's about, taking their money. They don't care about them. The aftermath of this procedure, they don't. It's inhuman.
Governor Hochul, under your watch, New York has spent billions of dollars of taxpayer money providing free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, you're charging hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 annually just for the privilege of driving to work. Speaking of driving, when you ran for Congress, did you oppose giving driver's licenses to illegals, yes or no?
Let's see if we get a straight answer. I'm not hopeful.
No, that was previous to that. It was in 2020.
You had a commercial running for Congress touting your position.
No, but the position
about
goes back earlier than that.
Driver's license.
My point.
Did you oppose giving driver's licenses to illegals when you were running for Congress? Yes or no?
At the time I did, and I'll tell you why.
Yes or no?
I had a chance to go out and see a very rural district
Reclaiming my
where
time.
mothers were being denied the chance
Governor,
to drive
yes
their
or no?
kids
Do
to
you
the
support
doctor's
illegal?
office.
This is why we can't stand politicians. On both sides, they both do this. I get why they do it, but like, this is a clown show. This is theater.
Illegal immigrants getting
People were being denied the
taxpayer-funded
chance
health
to go to their jobs, and I understood.
Governor,
the merit
please
of
answer
having
the
it.
question.
Governor.
I'm not sure there'll ever be a real question.
You were asked a question and you chose to try to
gave an
deflect.
answer.
The fact is, you did support giving illegals driver's
It was
licenses, oppose giving illegals driver's licenses. Now you support it.
Mm-hmm.
Governor, yes or no? Do you support illegal immigrants getting taxpayer-funded health care? Yes or no?
We provide health care to people in need, including moms with new babies.
Do you support giving illegal immigrants taxpayer-funded health care? Yes or no?
We support giving money, support
The
for
answer is
healthcare
yes. You expanded health care access in 2024
Yes, I did.
under Medicaid.
for senior citizens
Governor, after
and
the
moms with
election,
new
you
babies.
said,
I would do it all
reclaiming
over
my
again.
time. Governor, after the election, you said,
She says for seniors and for moms of new babies. And they lead with that, but then they backdoor all these other loopholes so that people who should not be represented within it are. It's so slimy. And I know it happens on both sides, but we're talking about welfare, fraud, abuse today as pertains to this issue. That is so, so wrong. It's betrayal. It's betrayal.
someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here. Governor, yes or no, have you personally called up ICE and asked them to get anyone out of New York?
As the governor of New York, I have an entire state police force
Have you
that
personally
carries on
called
my
anybody up
directions.
and asked ICE to get anyone out of New York, yes or no?
My state police acts as my agency and
You
my
have
surrogate.
not, correct?
When I say me, I'm referring to my entities such as the state police that
you're
handle
like
that.
Governor Cuomo, I am the government?
That's your
position?
characterization, not mine.
Yes or no, should ICE have been called on Sebastian Zapata Cali?
Can you refresh me as to the circumstances of the case?
He's the individual who burned the woman alive on the train.
Of course.
Should
they
ICE have been called on him?
NYPD was handling that situation.
Should ICE have been called? That's my question. Yes or no?
If there was an arrest made, he should have been deported after conviction, yes.
Okay. So, Governor, when you were sworn in 2021, you signed an executive order keeping many of Governor Cuomo's executive orders in place, including EO 170. Interestingly enough, you did not include EO 170.1. Are you familiar with EO 170.1?
I don't have it in front of me. I have thousands of executive orders.
I have it right here, Governor.
I'm sure you do.
And what you did, you waited several years until this year, January 16th of this year, in which you finally signed it and reinstated it into law. Why did you wait until just 4 days before Donald Trump was sworn in as president to sign EO 170.1 into law? And to refresh your memory, it basically mandates that federal immigration authorities cannot enforce civil arrests in New York State buildings. Why did you wait several years to reinstate that?
because we had a high level of confidence that under the previous administration that people going into the courthouses, whether they're victims of crimes, witnesses of crimes, would have their rights protected. I had no assurance
In other words,
that would
you
happen.
believe they would not enforce federal immigration law, and you were concerned that President Trump and his administration would enforce federal immigration law?
We thought it was important for victims of crimes and witnesses to murders, for example, that they have access to courts without being threatened or intimidated.
Yeah.
You know, I don't claim to be an expert on all this. I am like y'all. I do the research to the best of my ability. I present it on the video. I let y'all decide. You know, y'all leave comments. Y'all have y'all opinion. I share mine. Y'all leave y'all's. You know, we go back and forth. We learn from each other. Hopefully, some of y'all aren't so partisan that you can be exposed to new information and change your mind. But I know that we all come into these conversations with preconceived notions due to misinformation, disinformation even, and we formulated opinions that are ignorant and uninformed in some cases, but we feel passionately about them. Too many times is that true for me. So I do the research, right? And I go straight to the source, straight to the horse's mouth. I get to see the representatives for each party, and I get to hear them speak about the legislation that they wrote and what they advocate for. I live with the impacts of it, and I know what those are, but I get to hear the heart behind it when they speak. More and more, as I hear one side speaking about the issue as it pertains to legal and illegal immigration, it pushes me further and further to the right because they're not being realistic.
If you're hitting the road for your Thanksgiving feast, if you've got a long way to go over the river and through the woods, I don't know.
To grandmother's house you go.
Bingo. Well, you're going to get a deal on gas prices.
Okay, we're talking about gas prices that are under $2 for a gallon, which is just crazy. When's the last time you've seen that?
It's been years.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving travel right now, especially if you're heading to the destination by car this year. The good news is the gas prices are lower this year than they've been in some time.
Recent data, 2025, shows among the lowest priced states for regular gas are several red states. For example, federal level price index shows blue state living tends to come with higher overall cost of living, including gas. All over the country, gas prices are at an all-time low. But you might not notice it in the blue states, especially like Illinois, since we're one of the states that pay the highest gas taxes in the country. Oh yeah, and in 2026, that budget that Illinois have, Pritzker have, we will be paying 45% more taxes on the gas and the energy on top of what we are paying now. So let me read to you some of the red states that have been seeing, you know, real low gas prices. Let's see, we have Oklahoma, $2.53. Mississippi, $2.61. Arkansas, $2.64. Louisiana, $2.64. Texas, $2.64. Tennessee, $2.68. Idaho, $2.68. Missouri, $2.70. Kansas, $2.72. Alabama, $2.72. Nebraska, $2.75. Kentucky, $2.75. Indiana, $2.65. So let's look at the average price of gas in the blue states. We have California, $4.61. Hawaii, $4.45. Washington, $4.17. Nevada, $4. Idaho, $3.30. Illinois, $3.20. New York, $3.20. Delaware, $3.20, around that. And yeah, you get the gist of it, so on and so on. Okay, so thank you, President Trump. We see that you're doing what you said you were going to do as far as bringing gas prices down. But in these blue states, that's why you all in Chicago are steady running to Indiana to get the gas, get your gas and things like that, because it's a red state and the gas is cheaper here, there. Voting have consequences. So when you're in Illinois and Chicago and you're complaining that you don't see the record low gas prices and things like that, then you need to complain to your elected officials, your Democratic elected officials, because I told you, you must look at policies, and all they do is tax. That's all they know how to do, is tax you. Yes. So get mad at your Democratic Party elected officials because you're not benefiting from President Trump record low gas prices. It's lower than it was with Biden when he was in office, but because you vote blue no matter who, we can't reap the benefits of the full benefits of the low gas prices. So, guys, we must stop this. We have to stop voting blue no matter who and then running to Indiana to get the low gas prices. All right, we can have that right here in Chicago.
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly, and securely. Don't wait. Decide how it ends.
Crime harder. Crime harder. Trump is your president. Crime harder. Crime harder. Trump is your president.
On the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" !Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
Hey, let me shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We're at a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish this term.
That's the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.